Jared, all right. I teased it a little bit earlier. We might as well get into it. I have another
Yeah,
series
what do you
bet that
got?
I have made. Yeah, so we're talking about the Lakers and the Grizzlies. We know Memphis is a slight favorite, minus a buck 40 around there. We're seeing, and Lakers giving you a little bit of plus money anywhere, I guess, ranging from even money to plus 120. But and again, look, this isn't a bet where I'm just clearly definitively going like this team is better than that team, but I think it's a good price. And I do still lean toward this squad, and that's the Memphis Grizzlies. Of course I lean toward them because I'm backing them here, but instead of going with the series winner at like minus 140, Jared, I actually did Memphis to cover the series spread of minus 1.5 games
Okay.
at plus 190. So I think that's a really great price. And like the other books, the best numbers were like plus 160 or so. And I'm kind of looking at it like realistically, if Memphis wins this series, it's probably, or in series in general, it could easily be 6-5 or a sweep. I don't think that actually happens with a sweep per se, but I think 6 is probably the best case scenario. And if I get to that point too, where say Memphis has the chance to win it in game 6, I can always look to hedge off of it if I'm feeling uncertain and then bet the Lakers money line to counter it. Lakers probably in game 6 at home, maybe a slight favorite in that spot if we're just considering what may be the price far ahead. But I like plus 190 for that price, and I really think Memphis does have the edge here. We talked about red flags with teams earlier, like the Golden State Warriors, championship hangover, teammates punching each other, terrible road issues. With the Lakers, you talk about a roster not really playing all together that often. I know they did at the end of the stretch, and they look great, but they're still a team that loves, and I mean loves, to shoot themselves in the foot. And you even saw their struggles in the playing game. And this goes beyond the playing game, but that's a perfect example. They easily could have and probably should have lost that game if Anthony Edwards was somewhat competent in the fourth quarter, wanted to contribute at all offensively, because last year he was the playing game hero. This year in that first game, he completely disappeared. And also that was without Rudy Gobert. This Lakers team makes it so much harder on themselves than they need to. And I just think without that home court advantage, a Memphis team that has gotten over that playoff inexperience hump last year, Memphis still does have some great pieces there. Steven Adams being out, yeah, it's not ideal. This is where you need to get Jaren Jackson amplifying his intensity by 100 times. I mean, this is the playoffs. This is what you get up for. And people can point back to, well, I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies have had a lot of issues, the whole Ja Morant situation. Look, I think if anything, if you kind of want to look at glass half full, it could have been a great reset for Memphis. You got his head on straight. He realizes what he needs to not do off the floor and set his priorities straight. And you get the big team meeting. You kind of get back into the rhythm of everything. And I think that will end up looking back and going, you know what? That was good that they had that reset in that time period because it got them focused on the task at hand. And you also got the drama already built up from that game way back when Shannon Sharp was, doing his old thing on courtside. So I'm excited for that from an entertainment standpoint. But I do think talent-wise, Memphis easily can keep up with these guys. And I just don't think the Lakers have had that consistent play that I'm willing to trust from what I've seen the entire season. And again, instead of laying a price for the series, I'm going to take a little bit more of a risk and go with the series spread at the juicier price of plus 190. And if I need to hedge at game 6, so be it if I'm not feeling confident with Memphis. Otherwise, that's what I'm going to be rocking with in this series.
Well, I'm looking now because now you've got me intrigued on the series double like I just did with this next game. Memphis to win game 1 and win the series plus 120. So kind of fits that narrative, right? We think Memphis is going to get off to a good start in the series. We think they're going to win the series by 2 games. We would expect them to win game 1. If they don't win game 1, we're going to get Memphis at a plus price down a game to win the series. And that, I would still say, is an interesting situation. I do think the Lakers are overbaked a little bit. They got the proverbial monkey off of their back in that game. They almost could have easily lost against the Timberwolves the other night. And they were able to get over the hump, and they were able to kind of, again, take some of the pressure off. I think there's a lot of pressure and just agita on this Lakers team. It's been a really tough year. And you get the Lakers and LeBron that are always in this spot. They're always playing a lot of basketball. They're always the center of attention. You get a positive narrative there. You get the negative narrative of the injury to Steven Adams. You get the Grizzlies are off kilter because of Ja Morant, this and that. So that bakes in some value to the Grizzlies price right there. And then we handicap the series. And you mentioned there's some players on Memphis that I think need to step up. Jaren Jackson, I agree. How about Tyus Jones, who did really, really yeoman's work in relief of Ja Morant during his suspension? And Tyus Jones, 13 points, 7 assists, 3.5 rebounds, averaging during the month of March. You gave him some confidence to step up in a big moment, because there's going to be times throughout the course of this series, if the Grizzlies are a little bit thin with their rotation, well, that means guys like Tyus Jones. I do think that's where the Grizzlies have an edge here. You would imagine the Lakers have a little bit of an edge on the interior. I think the Grizzlies' guards are better, and I think Tyus Jones is one of those guys that can be a spark. So there's some X factors for Memphis here in this series, and I do think that the value is saying Memphis based off of home court, Lakers positive narratives, Memphis negative narratives. This is a very public series. A lot of eyeballs on these two players, Ja and LeBron. And I think that leads you to believe maybe the Lakers are a little bit of a public dog here. And I kind of agree. I think that might be the bet I'll make. Grizzlies to win game one and then to win the series based off of your handicap there and kind of us talking it out.
Yeah, I love it, man. Always happy to get someone else along for the ride. And like you said, I mean, the Grizzlies in game one, they are a favorite here, -3.5, minus $1.60 on the money line against the Lakers. And I guess that's kind of another fascinating thing that eventually, and I know we can now, but we can look back on, like, how do those playing game teams do the first game in their actual series? Obviously,
Hawks didn't do great.
Yeah, right. Like, the Hawks did not show up, that's for sure. We'll see how, like, Miami ends up doing and the Timberwolves. But the Lakers are a little bit of a different playing team, because we know the capabilities they have when they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis there. And look, I get that's what makes them an attractive underdog. But yeah, I kind of just think everybody's so eager to look to jump on Los Angeles because of those brand names. But when you really look at the basketball they played all year, it's been very underwhelming. Maybe they flip the switch.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.